Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
And we're back. Two of us are guys of a certain age. That's been kind of the way it's been going, right, Jay Reed?
Showing a pattern, yes.
Yeah, Robbie Koblentz in studio. And it's not just, I mean, Art's on assignment or on something, maybe Benadryl. Who knows?
Pollen deterrent system.
Yeah. There's not a pattern. It's not like it's me and Art or me and you or you and Art all the time. It just kind of flows.
It's kind of a rotating schedule, but I'm looking forward to getting us all back together. Maybe that will happen soon.
Well, maybe, who knows?
Because we have lots to talk about that we're waiting to talk about till we're all together.
we may have to just bust up and break it out. So, but anyway, so yeah,
that sounds like an '80s reference, like
Breaking
Two, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, yuck! Wow, I kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit there. So how are you making it through pollen season?
Well, I mean, business is booming.
I'm talking about you personally.
It hasn't been too bad. I've pretty much taken antihistamines around the clock anyway, so it hasn't gotten to me too much.
Do those not make you drowsy?
I have, well, after you take them for a while, normally, I'm not giving advice here, disclaimer, but normally your body kind of gets used to it. As long as you're not, if you're taking Benadryl, yes, you're going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But what I take is low doses and just kind of keep it in my system.
So this is not medical advice or drug advice. Consult your primary care physician.
Right.
We're not responsible for anything you do to yourself.
But so far that's worked.
Yeah. I would be asleep.
Nasal, little Flonase.
Little Flonase makes the world go round, doesn't it? So
keeps the world going around.
Yep. All right.
Sponsored by, not Flonase.
Sponsored by Big Pharma. Oh, whoops. Somebody's going to come after us now. So, all right, let's jump into some Geeks of the Week. Jay, would you like to go first?
I'll go first.
Hey, so when you and Art recorded, I haven't listened to the Patsy Cline show. Who went first on Geeks of the Week?
I don't remember, honestly. I think I did.
Oh, wow.
We kind of went back and forth, but we had lots. We kind of followed your pattern and had a bunch of geeks.
Oh, well, hopefully.
Which by the time this airs, that will already have been.
Yeah, it doesn't
probably.
really matter.
Who knows?
So. Anyway, all right.
Yeah. I have several today, too.
All right.
Who knows?
We'll go.
I'll just start today. I read this, and I know that we will talk. I don't want to get too much in the weeds here, but apparently, as we record, yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of Daredevil's first appearance on Netflix. So I think it's kind of cool that the new season is, in the thick of it now. And I have not got as far along as y'all have, but I'm really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it. So just a word, 10-year anniversary and celebrating by a new series. So.
I'm 2 episodes behind at this point.
Okay, I think I watched number 3 or 4 yesterday.
I think I've gotten through 4
out of 8. So anyway, so that's one little thing. Just to keep in my series of places to go eat that take a long time to get to, came across a place in Boerne, and I'm probably saying that wrong, Boerne, Texas, Boerne, Texas, or Boerne, Texas, little bit northwest of San Antonio. So it's like a 12-hour drive from here, 14 if I'm along, because of stuff. Anyway, it's called Dark Side Pizza, Dark Side Brick Oven Pizza, and it is just jam-packed, the decor, with 80s nostalgia stuff. Life-size figures, life-size figures of Yoda, Luke, something from Battlestar Galactica that you would recognize that I didn't, Teen Wolf, Superman flying through the air. I think there's an E.T. on a bike. There's a big sort of abominable snowman looking thing. I'm sure I should probably know what that is. And wow, we just kind of had a lights out here.
But no power out. That's interesting. I think this bulb has died, Jay.
Just okay. Well, maybe it's the bulb. I hope it's the bulb because
it's the bulb.
We're still lights on the board are still recording.
We're still recording.
I can still hear myself.
Well, we'll do this in the dark for a second.
Okay.
And that light's probably out too.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I've already tried it.
Yeah. All right. You continue.
So Dark Side Pizza in Boerne, Texas, and just I'm not sure I've seen a restaurant aside from places like Planet Hollywood and that kind of thing that has big stuff. But this is like really cool stuff. And from what I could pick up just by flipping through Instagram, the guy that owns it is like creates some of his own stuff. So
wow.
There was a picture of Ben Kenobi, and it said, this is one of my personal collection that's at Starkiller Ranch, and on display there and that kind of stuff. So anyway, if you're in the San Antonio area and you're an 80s kid, I think you would probably enjoy this. And that he's building out something called Dark Side After Dark, which is going to be a cocktail lounge. It looks like a cave with a tree in the middle of it, and apparently they have a winery somewhere, Dark Side Wine. So there's big things going on there. But the real geek of the week, the real geek of the week is I think it's time for us to look at Robert Pattinson and his Geek Index. I came across this little tidbit about his filming schedule over the next year or so. So he's currently filming. He's got some role in the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, which has got Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Zendaya. And the girl that his name I'll probably butchered, Lupita Nyong'o, who was in the Black Panther. Anne Hathaway's in it. Charlize Theron's in it. So it's actually the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey. Supposed to be an epic sort of film. So he's doing that now. When that's done, he starts filming Dune Messiah.
That's right.
So that's going to be summer and into however long. Everything I read said it wasn't sure what is Denis Villeneuve? Is that a person?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the role he's playing. Not sure how much time that will take, but then supposedly when he finishes that,
Batman 2.
Exactly. So
excuse me, the Batman.
Right. Part 2. Yeah. So at the end of 25 or early 26, he starts the Batman, which is supposed to come out October 1st of 2027. So
I don't believe that's going to happen.
Dude is busy.
Yeah, he is. I mean, and we need to do some Geek Index. Who was the guy I put in our group chat a couple weeks ago? I could find this, but he was in Doctor Who, he was in Star Wars, he was in Game of Thrones, he was in a lot of stuff. I mean, he was in the Avengers, the BBC. I'll have to find it at some point.
Yeah, I remember you saying it, but I don't remember who it was.
So his Geek Index was fairly high. So we probably should do a Geek Index once a month.
There's plenty of people to do.
Yeah. So, but awesome. All right. What else you got in your master?
That's it. That's it. Only 3 today.
That's only 3.
Yeah.
Well, mine is kind of interesting. This was announced yesterday. The Oscars will finally recognize stunts in 2028.
Okay.
So this
2028 is going to take them 3 years to.
Well, it'll be for movies. It'll be movies in 2027. Yeah, movies released in 2027. So it's taken them forever to get to this point. And the official category is stunt design. Let's see if I can find the official category. No, I don't see it. So,
well, good for them. But
achievement it will be officially known as the Academy Award for Achievement in Stunt Design.
So does that the stunt director or the actual stunt man who's going to get the award?
I don't know. And I would think it would be an ensemble award where the stunt director and then those actually executing would be recognized. I would think. I don't know, but I would think everybody involved in that needs to be awarded at some level.
Yeah, but I can't figure out why they would have to wait 3 years to put it in place. I mean, why not next year?
Well, I mean, you've got
next. I mean,
yeah,
surely.
I don't know. This has been brewing for a long time. And what's even better about this is, there are two types of the Oscars are broken into two parts, right? You've got the non-broadcast and the broadcast. And the broadcast stuff is, best male, best female actor, supporting, all that stuff. Some of the things that you don't see are held in a ceremony prior where folks go, but it's not the red carpet. This is going to be part of the primetime award show broadcast.
Okay, well that's good.
It's great. It's about time, and I'm curious whether they're going to do 5 or 10 entries. Because if you recall, there's now 10 nominees for best motion picture.
I knew it had grown, but I didn't know.
So I'm wondering if they will come in and do 10 nominations for just to kind of make up for time. Because even though you don't, I mean, it is an honor to be nominated. So
Sure.
you can say Oscar nominee.
Right.
So maybe make up for lost time by honoring some folks that should have been honored.
So is there yet an award for like the art and artistry of opening and closing credit type stuff?
No, not at the Academy Awards level.
Okay.
So you got some key art awards that recognize that, and film trailers and stuff like that, but not at the Academy level.
Okay.
The director or editor, I mean, you got art design.
Who decides that?
Who decides what?
Like who designs that? Is it the director or
no? You're going to hire an artist to do.
Oh, sure. I mean, hire an artist, but who's like generally speaking, who conceives that? The
director.
Okay.
The director's going to hire the artist, collaborate with, and say, "Hey, I was thinking this, and this."
Gotcha.
In an ideal world, the artist would come back, give you 2-3 different looks, and you would pursue one.
Because I think that's something that needs to be awarded. Because some of it's really amazing, and some of it's just average.
What I've always kind of a side project is to do a discussion of and breakdown of TV show intros. Because I watched The West Wing ad nauseum, and I think the West Wing intro is a montage compilation of different scenes from different episodes, and I think I know which episode generates which piece of montage. And I think it would be fascinating to look at where things are pulled from. Now, a lot of intros now are completely like the Severance intro, completely animated.
Yeah.
Silo, same sort of thing. There's no reference back other than just kind of the look and feel of the show.
Generally, I watch it the first time and then I skip it.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that.
I enjoyed the Game of Thrones intro because you would know where you were going, where the episode was based upon where they showed.
Okay.
Did you not know that?
I did not. No.
Yeah. So if it was going to be at Winterfell or the Wall or at King's Landing, it's going to hit that. So basically, every place that the camera went in the Game of Thrones intro, those were the locations you're going to be at in that show.
Okay, well, so I didn't get very far into that. So
yeah. How much of Game of Thrones did you watch?
Just a few episodes. I read the first book, but I haven't watched much of the.
Oh, hey, I've got another Geek of the Week. Speaking of Game of Thrones, so you may have seen this, but the dire wolf has been revitalized. So the dire wolf is if you're a Game of Thrones fans,
I remember this.
The dire wolf was the signal of House Stark. Well, a cloning company that George R.R. Martin has an investment in have cloned and reintroduced the direwolf back into the populace. So they have technically what they said is they've revived an extinct species. That's not exactly what they did. There's been some stuff that has been kind of it's not a true revival of. They kind of bred some things and did some things. But the two direwolf puppies are Romulus and Remus.
Okay.
Yeah. So the brothers who founded Rome. They're supposed
like there's trouble in.
They're the first to exist in over 10,000 years. And the idea is, can we clone endangered species out of the endangered category?
Oh,
so,
wow.
So there's a photo floating around of George R.R. Martin holding a direwolf puppy. And so the guy can fund and help bring back extinct animals, but he can't finish the last two books of the Song of Ice and Fire. Come on, George R.R., what are you doing? Stop playing with animals and write the darn books.
So was the direwolf an actual thing? I figured he made it up.
No, direwolf actually roamed North America.
Okay.
Thousands of years ago. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I need to go back and look. I think I had a Geek of the Week one time about them reviving the woolly mammoth. I need to check and see.
Yeah, well, it's coming. So the Colossal is the name of the company. It was founded in 2021. They employ 100. That's the company that did the reviving. They employ 130 scientists. Also on their de-extinction list is the woolly mammoth, the dodo, the thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger. So,
okay,
Tasmanian tiger, dodo, and the woolly mammoth. Up next.
Maybe it's the same group.
So back in March, the company surprised the science community with the news that it had copied mammoth DNA to create a woolly mouse. A chimeric creature with the long golden coat and the accelerated fat metabolism of the woolly mammoth.
So it sounds like the rabbit in Search for the Holy Grail.
I tell you what.
Watch out for the woolly rabbit.
I think we are messing with things we probably shouldn't be messing with.
I agree.
Between genetics and AI.
And robotics.
Yeah. So I'm glad I got an off-grid cabin. All right, we're going to take a break, talk about going back in time. We're going to talk vinyl, 8 tracks, all that stuff. Up next. And we're back in the half-lit studios. We were able to get some lights on so Jay and I don't go blind, but it's still just Jay and I with no art. And we're going to talk like old audio formats. Now, this was inspired by a post you put up on our group chat that you had dug out a turntable. What happened there?
Yeah, the backstory is my son Jacob, when he was doing a co-op down in Jackson, I don't remember the who or why, but for some reason he bought a Pioneer PL200 turntable from a guy down there, and with the knowledge that he'd have to get an amp, and and I had a couple of old Bose speakers that I loaned him, and basically, long story short, he never really finished the job, so left it in my garage
as our sons sometimes do.
As sons do, and I've done myself. He left it at my house, and so I asked him a few weeks ago, is there something that you want to do with this? And he was basically like, do whatever you want to with it. So around that same time, one of my customers at the pharmacy was telling me something about him working on stereo equipment. And so we got to talking, and this is like his hobby. And I said, well, I've got a Pioneer turntable. I think it works, but I would like it to be, just cleaned up and make sure everything's running right. And he said he would look at it for me. So he did. Everything worked fine.
And this is a neighbor here.
This was in where I work. Do what now?
Oh, no, I understand.
This is a customer at the pharmacy.
I need to get his name.
Yeah, you probably know him. But anyway, he brought it back and said, everything works fine. Cleaned it up for me real well. And I think I don't know exactly what all he did, but anyway. And I'd already talked to Art. I'd been down to Scooter's record chair, tried to figure out if I get it fixed, what do I need to do to make it play? And it turns out the surround sound system I have at home has a phono jack in the receiver. So all I really needed to do was plug it in, plug the jacks in, and go.
Plug it in.
Like I tend to do, I procrastinated, but I finally got everything out the other day, plugged it up, and played a Turn to Stone on my old ELO album. And I wish we had Art here to sing it completely for us. But anyway, so that was all great. And I thought, okay, it works. And I'd cleaned out a part of the cabinet. We just kind of let some old DVDs build up under the receiver. So I put it in, and the door wouldn't shut. So now I have a great receiver. I have a great receiver and a great turntable, but they won't work together because of the location. So I've got to figure out what. Yeah, that's the one. Yep. Is that mine, or did you pull it up on YouTube?
I pulled it up on YouTube.
Okay.
But
yeah, so I have some great albums I would love to go back and listen to. And now I've got to decide, do I want to try to find a receiver, see if my speakers work, because one of them's got something rattling in it. So I may have to take it back to my friend and see.
Yeah. Don't we all have something rattling in us?
So I want to be able to use it, but I'm debating, okay, do I just buy a turntable that's self-contained and spend about $50 and enjoy the albums, or try to spend money on a receiver and maybe speakers and, invest in something that didn't belong to me in the first place? So I'm kind of battling that now, but I do want something. I either want to.
Or you could just get a bigger entertainment system and keep your turntable
cabinet.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's big. It's huge. It's just not as deep as it need to be.
Gotcha.
That's the problem. Unless I can figure out a way to take the back off, which is possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I need to look at that before I make any big decisions.
Yeah, we could cut that out easy.
I'm not sure if the wife would go for that, but I'm thinking maybe I could just unscrew the back panel and give myself a couple more inches, and if that's the case, I'd be in good shape.
Yeah.
But I haven't had time to invest in that. That just happened the other night, but it was fun to see.
How did it sound?
It sounded fine, but I don't think it sounded. Let's see. See, I don't know because it's been so long since I've listened to an LP, and this was on a surround sound in my living room. It didn't really surround, so I'm not sure what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, it's not going to surround because it's 2 channels. So surround sound is either going to be 5.1 or 7.1.
Yeah.
5.1 being front, left, center, right, 2 rears. That's 5 channels. 0.1 being 1 subwoofer. So that album was not mixed 5.1 channels. It was mixed left, right.
Right. That makes sense.
Your receiver's probably interpolating or doing a faux surround. So it's not really a true surround.
Yeah. So, but it sounded fine. I mean, it looked like a little wobbly, and I think it was probably, I don't know if it was the album or the turntable that was, but it sounded fine.
So how are your albums being stored right now?
They're in a record rack in my bedroom right now. They were at my parents' house, and finally I brought them back.
Vertical or horizontal?
Vertical.
Yeah, vertical. That's rule number 1.
Yeah, they're vertical.
Vertical. Because if you go horizontal, they're going to warp eventually.
Yeah, and I think they've been vertical most of their lives.
Oh, that's great.
Most of their recent life. And I've got some great stuff. I was part of the record club. I've got some, Foreigner, Kansas, ELO. I've got some Petra, several Petra stuff.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Can I buy those from you?
No.
What have I got that you'd want that we could trade?
We'll see.
Well, actually, I probably got the Petra ones.
I'm pretty proud of those, though. And I've got, what I really want, though, is to go back. I've got a bunch of, albums from our high school band that I want to go back and listen to. And stuff from church and, things that, are very, very unique to me. And, I don't have any other way to listen. So I feel like I need to invest one way or the other. It's just probably not going to go in the living room. But if I can figure out a way to put it in my office, get a good but
so I'm
less expensive receiver.
So what I've done here, you don't necessarily need a receiver. Okay? So here comes the advice part of our segment. Advice from Robbie on how to do turntables. So the whole idea with turntables, you don't need a receiver, what we would traditionally call a receiver amp. You need a preamp that will take the output of the turntable, which the records were pressed and recorded with an RIAA approved audio curve, and you need a preamp that will take that and kind of flatten it out and make it to something that sounds much better. So you need a good preamp. There are a variety of preamps out there. You could spend thousands of dollars. You could spend hundreds of dollars. I'm going to look on Amazon right now. We're looking for...
So my question right away is, while you're looking, is if I'm going to spend hundreds on a preamp, why not just spend that same amount of money on a receiver that could do more than...
Because usually the preamps and receivers suck.
Okay.
So, so you could buy, this looks really good. It's got a couple of tubes in it. So if you want to be a really audiophile, you're going to want a preamp that has tubes to give you a warmer sound as opposed to going through a digital circuit. Okay. So here's a Fosse Audio Box X2 phono preamp. That's got gain gear. It's got a couple of tubes in it. It's a 12-volt DC, so it's not chugging a lot of power down for $70. So that looks to be a really cool little preamp. Then from that preamp, you would take outputs, and then what I would do is just get a pair. What I've done in here, I'd get a pair of powered speakers.
See, I don't think my speakers that I have now are powered.
They're not. They're not. So get you a pair of powered speakers, and that's it. You've got a really compact little setup. And I'll show you when we leave what I've done, which I've been pretty pleased with. And that way you don't have a big honking receiver amplifier chewing up a lot of power. You've got some nice powered speakers. You've got a nice turntable and a preamp. And you could probably get into this for under $250 total.
Okay.
As opposed to buying a receiver with additional speakers, yada, yada, yada. So
That makes sense.
I'm not telling you to do this.
But with a receiver, could I plug in my non-powered speakers to the receiver?
Could you plug in your non-powered speakers to a receiver? Yes, like you would do in the old days.
Yeah.
So a powered speaker is a speaker that's got an amp inside specifically designed for that speaker.
Okay.
So you're sending a line level to that speaker as opposed to a speaker level, which is coming out of an amp into it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Dizzy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good thing you're sitting down.
Yeah.
So remember back in the old days, you would have a cassette deck and a turntable and a receiver.
Oh, yeah.
And you would take phono cables from the cassette deck, plug into the back of the receiver. You would take audio out from the cassette deck to tape in on the receiver.
Yeah.
That's a line level. So that is a very low voltage level. That is your audio signal that is coming from the cassette to the receiver. Your receiver is actually a receiver amplifier. So it is taking that line level, amplifying it through transformers and things, sending out higher voltage to your speakers. That's why if you were ever stupid like me and you had a speaker wire disconnected from the back of the speaker sitting on the floor, and you had the speaker turned up and you accidentally stepped on it, it shocks you.
Okay.
So that's the difference between a powered line and a line level.
I guess I just have these. I have bought a. This is one of my first Sam's Club purchases when I was in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And was single and had money to burn. And I bought a pair of Bose speakers.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I've used them yet. I've carried them around back and forth across the world. And I think Jacob told me last, he said, yeah, Dad, it doesn't work. The one that has this shaky part may not work. But I'm determined to use these somehow.
I found
We'll see.
I've got a Bose 5.1 surround sound system. Actually, no, it's not 5.1. It's going to be 3.1 surround, well, not even a surround system. So, what the old saying was, no highs, no lows, must be Bose.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. Bose did a great job at marketing, and they weren't bad speakers at all.
I think my Bose, in my surround sound, I have a Bose as that center speaker.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what else. Most of the rest of it was already in the house except for the subwoofer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is.
So you don't know what a subwoofer is?
I know what it is. I
Yeah.
just don't know if it's Bose or not.
Yeah. Probably if you bought it all at the same time, it probably is. May have not.
The sound system was set up in my house when I bought it. I just added the center and the subwoofer when they came and set it all up.
I understand. I smell what you're stepping in.
Yeah.
So,
It doesn't shock you.
no. Not like stepping on a speaker wire full tilt.
But anywho, so that's the long story of the turntable, and I think I might follow. I'm gonna check into what we'll revisit that conversation off mic and.
Well, and I
figure out
think
what I
you
need.
could actually go to Scotty's today and buy, scooters. Scotty owns scooters.
Okay.
You could probably go to Scooters and buy the speakers I've got and a preamp today.
Oh, I didn't realize he sold stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scott's a great guy. So
He helped me out when I was initially looking
So-
to get this thing fixed.
So you and I should go to lunch and go to Scooters. That's what we should do. So shout out to Scott at Scooters, who comes into Dolce quite a bit to get coffee. Great little record shop. This is his retirement. He worked for the city for years, and he opened up this cool little record shop. And Record Shop Day, when is Record Shop Day? It's coming up really soon. Record Shop Day is pretty awesome. Or, excuse me, Record Store Day is, what day is Record Store Day? April 12th. Oh, tomorrow's Record Store Day. I want to go in and see what he's got. So, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Taylor Swift will often drop a new piece of vinyl. So I may have to go buy something from Scott. How many vinyl records do you think you have?
Gosh. I probably got a couple dozen, maybe more.
I've got a program called Music Buddy that I said, I'm going to figure out what I've got and scan it. Music Buddy was like $6. Great little app on my phone. You can scan the UPC code of the record and it adds it.
Oh.
According to Music Buddy, I have 181 albums.
Vinyl.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't have that many.
Yeah. So I beat you at something collectible. Yes. So, man, we're done with the show now. Life goal achieved. Music Buddy is great. Again, it's like $5-6, and I'm showing Jay. Not only will you put in you can scan with your phone camera the UPC code, and it's going to retrieve the name, title, album art, the whole kit and caboodle. If it doesn't have a UPC code, you can do a manual search, and everything I tried to put in, it found. I mean, it found obscure Christian albums. It found.
Would it do? I mean, I'm sure they do CDs as well, right?
Yeah, it does everything.
Because that would be good. That would be useful, I think.
I probably should go in and tag all these as LPs, and then start doing my CD collection. One of the reasons I said I'm going to do this is I found I bought 3 copies of the same piece of vinyl. Yeah. So I've got multiple copies. I've got a bunch of copies of some Striper. I need to sell that. That would make me a little bit of money. But
I need to do that with my football cards, rice cards, but that would take forever. And
I'm trying to sell things just to kind of get it out of the way. So I have Conway's #1 Classics Volume 1, Conway Twitty. So have no idea where I ended up with that. But one of the things I'm finding that I enjoy is I'll go into a secondhand store and I will look at their vinyl collection and pick up some stuff. So there's a thrift shop in French Camp called Second Blessings.
Okay.
And they had a crate of vinyl, and I bought a couple of things. So
there's a place called Flashback, is a vintage store in Memphis, and I've looked at their vinyl.
Yeah.
Just haven't bought anything because I didn't have a place to play it, but
now you do.
Now maybe I do.
So vinyl has made a huge comeback in the last 10 years, and I still think a good piece of vinyl sounds better than a CD, even though I do enjoy all my CD copies. The next thing that seems to be making a comeback is cassette tapes. So there are folks starting to reissue things on cassette. So
I was thinking about that in our discussion. I have lots of cassettes, but I don't know if I have anything to play them on at my home right now. I think my mom may have something, either of hers or of mine, but I don't know that aside from an ancient tape recorder, like the little rectangular ones with a handle on it.
Oh, let's see.
Not even this big, but
like that one back there.
Similar.
Yeah, that Panasonic, which still works perfectly.
That Panasonic's even smaller than this. But anyway, I probably have that somewhere. But
I think it's time you dug it out,
I may have a Walkman somewhere.
See, that would be some money right there. If you had a Walkman that worked, woo!
I doubt it's an actual Walkman. That probably had a generic, but...
I always wanted a Sony Walkman, a bona fide Sony Walkman.
I think I had a Discman.
Yeah, I had a Discman too.
Yeah.
But I always wanted a Walkman. A friend of mine had a Walkman. I can't remember. It may have been Sony. I seem to think it was a Panasonic knockoff. But it was the coolest thing. It had a button you could press, and it had a little microphone on the unit, and you could press a button while you had music playing, and you could hear what's going on through that little mic into the headphones.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Kind of a little talkback sort of thing that I thought was really, really, really cool.
So you're talking about the vinyl making a comeback. I actually saw, I think it was on Oxford American magazine. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they do like a music issue every year or so, and a lot of times it's based on states and that kind of stuff. And I was looking at their one that's upcoming, and it comes with a CD usually, and I've got a bunch of those CDs, and it's really great music.
Yeah.
But the next one coming out is only on vinyl. Like if you get the issue and the music with it, it's just vinyl. I'm like, well, that's great, but
I don't have vinyl.
I don't know if that's worth it for me.
Yeah.
But it's exclusively vinyl. So I thought that was fascinating.
Do you remember the magazines you would get that would have the little black plastic 45s inside. That was the, and you would play. They were square.
Yeah.
You remember those?
And sometimes they would be like on the back of cereal boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
See, that's what I need to do. I was just thinking, I've got some friends coming in a couple of weeks that I graduated from high school with. And one of my buddies, always looking out for me, he gave me a 45 of the My Sharona.
My Sharona.
So, and there was a picture of a woman on there, and I think it was just like a tank top or something. But he took a Band-Aid and covered her front so that it would be acceptable to my mother. So I need to find that sometime the next week or so, and
that would be hilarious.
So I've got some. All I have at home right now are my LPs and my 33s. I don't have any 45s at my house, but I know I own some, so I need to find those.
I've got a few 45s.
And see, my mom's got 45s like from the days that Elvis was putting them out new. So we've looked a couple times, and every now and then she'll see something on Facebook saying, if you have this, you're sitting on $50,000, that kind of stuff. And I don't think she has any like that, but she does have like some Sun Record, 45s from the original.
I tell you,
time. So
could be worth some.
I think we've looked. We might be good to check again.
Yeah. I've got some comic books I'm going to start going through and doing the same sort of thing. So, all right. Well, we're going to sign off here, but the vinyl journey will continue because Jay and I are going to go to look at stuff in my office. But you guys can't join us. But join us next time around. See you then.